I don't know what y'all thinking, but this LaMelo kid always got me feeling like he's a total enigma.
What's up, GQ? It's LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball.
What's the real vibe of an NBA superstar? Serious, focused, efficient, saying all the right things. He ain't got none of that.
I'll give you $20 to jump in the pool.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes he's looking like a straight-up goofball. Man walked into the wrong tunnel like a lost kid. Flashy, but he's staying way too relaxed. Cool as a fan, but looking a bit reckless too. But then the talent just hits different. Man's a walking human highlight reel. His game's got that same wild energy as his soul. And it's exactly that aura. That made him the most debated name in the league. And honestly, one of the most hated out here.
There are some reports out there. There's a draft prospect that passed on a workout with the Hornets because they don't want to play with LaMelo Ball.
5 years in the league now. Melo still ain't smelled a single playoff game. Now the hate is starting to pile up. How's a kid with this much bag always ending up with the L? Can he actually lead a squad to the mountaintop? Or is he just another hype beast? Whose talent's getting swallowed by the cloud? To get the full picture, you got to look at where he came from. Because from the jump, his path was built different from everyone else. August 22nd, 2001. The third Ball brother enters the world. The minute he could walk, he was gripping a rock. That wasn't no choice. That was destiny right there.
My wife was a PE teacher and she was a basketball player. Okay, I'm a football player, sports, last name Ball. Guess what you're going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to ball till you fall.
Both parents were hooping in college. They turned that Cali crib into a full-blown basketball laboratory. While other kids were begging for toys, Melo was already pulling from the logo, draining deep threes on a 10-foot rim, running ball against his two big brothers. Started balling out for the family AAU squad at 11, going up against kids 5-6 years older than him. 14 years old, he's at Chino Hills, running the table 35-0, the undisputed best high school squad in the nation. But that was just the appetizer. 2016, LaVar turned that hoop dream into a whole brand, a straight-up business empire. The three brothers were already viral stars. The family drops their own kicks and starts balling the family on the screen. That show broke the internet overnight. Suddenly, the Ball family wasn't just a hoop name. They were icons in the pop culture game.
I'd kill Michael Jordan one-on-one.
Easy.
Why would you say something so blasphemous? Blasphemous. He would need help.
LaVar's loud personality was grabbing every headline. While the kids' highlights were plastered all over the feed, this brand turned into a whole fashion statement. And the only thing everyone was talking about. Love him or hate him, that clout pushed him to the moon. But for Melo, that early fame came with a heavy price tag. 2017, the family drops his first signature shoe. The first high schooler ever with his own sneakers. But profiting off your image was a big no-no for college ball back then. Melo lost his NCAA eligibility just like that. That traditional road to the league was blocked. So LaVar shipped him overseas. 16-year-old Melo lands in Lithuania, the youngest American pro in history. But man, that experiment was a total bust. He barely got any run on the floor, banging with grown men. The physicality was way more than he could handle, plus the language barrier and the culture shock. Because of that Ball family hype, the team got swallowed by the media circus. Before the season even finished, the whole thing went south. 17-year-old Melo heads back to the States. The future was looking real shaky. Scouts were split right down the middle. One side saw elite vision and pure magic. The other just saw a clout-chasing influencer. The real shift happened in 2019. This time he didn't follow LaVar's script. He chose to join the Illawarra Hawks in the NBL.
Next year, take my talents to the NBL and play for the Illawarra Hawks.
A squad that was always at the bottom. It was a massive gamble. A foreign league, pro-level physicality. And most importantly, he was away from the cameras. And what happened next was wild. He actually made it happen. Put up straight dominant numbers. Dropped a 30-point triple-double. Youngest ever to do it in that league. Took home Rookie of the Year. And finally earned that respect from NBA scouts. 2020. He gets picked 3rd overall in the draft. 2021, he's the Rookie of the Year. 2022, he's an all-star. Everything was looking like it's on track. But the cracks started showing. It's been 6 years since that 2020 draft. Ant-Man's been deep in the playoffs, balling out for Team USA. Holly even touched the finals floor. And Melo still ain't played a single playoff minute. Past few years, the Hornets were looking like a G League squad. The weirdest part is, his stats in the eye test were actually solid. Last season, he's given you 2-5-7-5. Pure entertainment every single night, even at the top of the All-Star voting. But the team only caught 19 dubs. Why is a kid with this much talent and these kinds of numbers getting further away from the spotlight? The answer's in how he grew up. Melo's life was like the Truman Show. He wasn't just hooping, he was putting on a performance. Every shot, every dime, watched magnified and edited for the feed. The hype wasn't a side effect. The hype was the whole game. Melo knows how to show out. But winning in the league ain't about the show. It's about the grind, the discipline, the boring defense. It ain't about pulling a one-footed fadeaway. From the logo with the clock winding down, Melo's taken way too many of those bad looks. Last season, he was second in the league in attempts, but his efficiency wasn't even top 100. And efficiency is what gets you those W's. Another thing, he's never really carried a squad on his own. High school he had his brothers. In Lithuania and Australia, he was way too young. He never had to be the guy with all the weight on him. Of course, we can't pin it all on him. No winning culture, trash front office, turned the Hornets into a poverty franchise. Plus the injuries were messing with him heavy. All those little tweaks and sprains, eating away at his body. 410 games in his career. He's only suited up for 231. But that one season he stayed healthy. He was a literal all-star. So is Melo really just a flashy bust? This season looks like he's built different. Rookie sensation Pell out here. Already one of the best snipers in the league. Brandon Miller's looking like the real deal too. And Melo himself started learning how to control the game. He's cutting out those wild shots. Scoring is down, but that efficiency is climbing up. The dimes are still on point. He's actually locked in on defense. Turnovers are at a career low. The proof's right there. When he wants to win, and the squad is right, Melo can lead him to the promised land. This former bottom feeder squad just ripped off a 9-game win streak, became the team nobody wants to see on the schedule. And Melo's moving from the center of the clout to the engine of the win. LaMelo Ball's life used to look like a scripted movie. The cameras, the drama, the hype, the claps, everything was set up early. He just had to show up and play his part for the views. But this time, there ain't no script. But he's grabbing the pen and writing it himself. At 23 years old, he's the only one of the 3 brothers who's still got a real shot to lead a team all the way to the top. He's still young, got all the time in the world to rewrite the story, turning all that noise from his early days into a legacy that actually matters. When Truman stepped out that door, the show was over. But for LaMelo, the real story's just getting started. Trust me, this next run might just be the most fire chapter of his whole career.
Perigosa rouba meu coração, vai que